In the mid-2000s, at a high-end hotel in Los Angeles, a technology executive decided to entertain his friends. He handed a colleague a massive stack of cash, told him to buy several $1,000s worth of gold coins from a nearby jewelry store, and then walked down to the Pacific Ocean. He and his friends spent the evening skipping those gold coins into the sea like rocks, laughing to see whose went the furthest. A few days later, that same executive shattered a lamp in the hotel's restaurant. When the manager informed him it was a $500 fixture that needed replacing, the executive pulled a brick of $100 bills from his pocket, handed over $5,000, and told the manager to never insult him again. This was a man who had designed a key component in Wi-Fi routers and sold multiple companies in his 20s. He had an abundance of liquid cash. Yet a few years later, he went completely broke. While skipping gold into the ocean is an extreme behavior, it highlights a quiet, universal trap. People routinely make irrational decisions with their money because we misunderstand the actual purpose of luxury purchases. During that same period, the author Morgan Housel was working as a valet at that hotel, parking cars for the ultra-rich. He saw a constant parade of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Rolls-Royces rolling up to the front drive. The people buying these six-figure cars operate on a specific assumption. They believe that driving a loud, expensive vehicle sends a clear message to the world. It says they have taste, they are intelligent, they have made it, and they are worthy of admiration. But standing at the valet stand, Housel noticed a paradox. When a Ferrari pulled up, he ignored the driver. He looked at the car, and he imagined himself sitting behind the wheel. The driver wants respect and admiration, but the onlookers bypass the driver entirely. They use the luxury item as a benchmark to fuel their own fantasies of success. The wealth is entirely disconnected from the respect the driver thought they were purchasing. Modern capitalism excels at generating actual wealth while simultaneously fueling intense social envy. Because we are social creatures, we gauge our position in the world relative to our peers. Since we cannot look inside someone else's bank account to see how well they are doing, we rely on the things we can see: the size of their home, the brands they wear, and the vacations they take. The danger of this visible consumption is perfectly illustrated by the singer Rihanna. In the late 2000s, despite generating millions of dollars in revenue from a highly successful music career, she nearly went bankrupt and ended up suing her financial advisor. In court, the financial advisor offered a simple defense. He asked the judge if it was really necessary to explain to his client that if you spend money on physical things, you will end up with the things and not the money. When most people say they want to be a millionaire, they are actually describing a desire to spend $1 million. These two states are mathematically opposite. This distinction exposes the strict mechanical difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich simply means you have a high current income. You make enough cash month to month to afford expensive car payments and luxury mortgages. Wealth, however, is hidden. It is the unspent financial assets sitting in accounts. If you see someone driving a $100,000 car, you only have one factual piece of data about their finances. They now have $100,000 less than they did before they bought the car, or they are $100,000 deeper in debt. We default to judging success by these outward appearances out of necessity. You can spot a designer suit from across the street, but brokerage statements and mutual fund balances are invisible. Relying on these visual cues pushes individuals into a cycle of mimicking the rich. They finance their lifestyles with debt, successfully faking the appearance of prosperity while remaining precariously close to insolvency. This chart illustrates the hidden dynamic behind those appearances. You have two vertical bars, one for income and one for ego, which dictates spending. Wealth accumulation depends on controlling spending habits, regardless of the size of a paycheck. As a career progresses and income rises, the natural instinct is to increase spending to match the new paycheck. The house gets bigger, the cars get newer, but the actual wealth generated remains unchanged. Real wealth grows by expanding the space between these 2 points. If your income stays exactly the same, but you deliberately suppress your ego and shrink your spending, the resulting gap becomes your accumulated wealth. Actual wealth measures self-control and the items left unbought, regardless of total earnings. This brings us to the concept of silent wealth. It consists entirely of invisible choices. It is the first-class upgrade you declined. It is the diamonds you left in the display case. It is the money that hasn't been converted into physical stuff. Developing this kind of discipline is extraordinarily difficult because human beings learn by imitation. If true wealth is hidden, we have no everyday visual role models to mimic. We only see the spenders. Succeeding requires a deliberate psychological shift. You have to abandon the desire to make people think you have money and replace it with the desire to actually keep the money. Hoarding cash serves a higher purpose than simple accumulation. It allows an individual to buy back their autonomy. The ultimate payoff of silent wealth happens first thing in the morning. It is the quiet realization that you can wake up and say, I can do whatever I want today. This autonomy scales directly with your savings. A small cushion buys the ability to take a sick day without financial panic. A larger reserve buys the time to wait for a better job offer after a layoff, rather than taking the first available paycheck. Eventually, it buys the ability to retire entirely on your own terms. Purchasing a luxury item provides a fast, temporary hit of dopamine, but that feeling quickly fades, often leaving behind a car payment that actually restricts your future choices. Unspent money does the exact opposite, providing an enduring psychological peace by giving you total control over your schedule. The highest dividend money pays is freedom over your time, far outweighing the temporary benefits of social status. If you want to continue exploring the hidden mechanics of money, make sure to subscribe to Know the Book. And let us know down in the comments, what specific luxury purchase will you stop making today to buy back your freedom tomorrow?